The objective for this training is to help each and every one of you understand the digital world and your place in it. It's something that it's something that we have to take advantage of, right? Because we would end up being players in the digital economy. So we need to know exactly what exactly is the digital economy and how can we find our place in it. As we proceed, please know that the mindset or um, the posture or perspective we should have is that we are learning to do and not to know. So there's a quote here. I've shared it a couple of times before, but I think it would be important for me to share this again. Don't learn to know, learn to do. Don't study to have information, study to take action. And I'm hoping that at the end of this training for today's session, we will be able to have something that we will be able to use to say this is what I'm actually going to use to do something. All right. I'm taking this information to do something with it. All right. Now we'll be covering a few concepts. If you are writing, this is a good place to write so that you are able to check each box to know what we have been able to cover throughout the session. First of all, exploring the careers in the digital economy. Um, the second thing we'll be looking at is the future of work. I was invited to speak at a conference a few weeks ago, and the theme of that conference, so it was a tech conference, and the theme of that conference was future of work, right? And there were some things I shared in that conference that I also think will be very important for me to share here also. And so we'll be talking very briefly about the future of work. And then also we'll be talking about the connection between the roles, right? So the various careers in the digital economy and how those careers connect with each other. Number four, we'll be talking about collaboration, how we can actually collaborate in the digital economy. And then when you talk about collaboration, you're talking about where two or three people, two or more people rather, are synergizing together to achieve a particular goal. When that comes in, you need to talk about ethics. You need to talk about like the moral standards and the moral codes that are used for um, interacting with one another so that we can respect each other and we can be able to make progress seamlessly. And then the sixth thing, which is the last thing we'll talk about, is responsible AI use. Now let's jump straight in um, to our next slide. The careers of digital economy. Now, if you look at my screen, you will see that I have two boxes. The one to the left it has a blue border, and the one to the right has a green border. Now, in my opinion, and I have done a little um, research, and I think I've also been in the industry long enough to be able to make these postulations and these projections. In my opinion, I outlined seven careers that are relevant today in the digital economy. Seven careers that are relevant today in the digital economy. And those are the careers that are captured in the blue bordered box to my left. All right. And then on the green bordered box to my right are the seven careers that I believe will be the careers of the future. Okay. This will be the careers of the future. This will be the people in the digital economy who will be dominating. Now let's just go through them one by one. I will not waste a lot of time on it, but I'll just go through them one by one. First is a software developer or an engineer. Who is a software developer? This is someone who has the knowledge and the skills of a programming language and computational logic to create softwares to solve problems. All right. Now, these softwares could be um, could be visible to the eyes. Some of them could just be running behind the scenes. All right. So whatever form of this software, they have to run it on a computer. So the software developers are people who are able to build um, programs that are able to run on the computer to achieve a task or to solve a problem. Now, the next is data analysis. Now, most of these things we already know, we've heard about it because they are trending now in the digital economy. So, data analysts are people who know how to engage statistical um, knowledge or statistical skills to clean data, to analyze data, and to make predictions or projections using the data that is given. Now, if you check it, the number of searches that are done on a daily basis, all right? If you go to Google and you search, it's something you can do right now. But if you go to Google and search, the number of Google searches per day, you will see that it is a humongous number, all right? The number of Google searches, you will see that it's a huge number. It's in the billions. All right. There was a time I searched and it was like 16 billion. Some other times, if you just search, I'm not talking about per year or per month. I'm talking every day, every every day. You have maybe between 12 to 15 billion searches every day. What that means is that you have about 8 to 10 million searches every minute. 8 to 10 million searches every minute. Now, I'm just bringing these figures out to tell you that there is a lot of data. And when this data is being collected, you need a data analyst or a data scientist to be able to make sense of this data. So that's one of the thriving careers of the digital economy today. And then the next one is UI UX designers. Because most of the software that we interact with have to do with human beings have to interact with them. UI UX designers are people who are able to understand human perspectives and then connect the digital software, the digital products to align with human values so that humans are able to understand and interact with the softwares properly. Now, most of the time, many people would hear, and I'm sure if I say it now, some people will be hearing it for the first time on this call, right? But there is a big difference between UI design and UX design. UI design stands for user interface. UX design stands for user experience. So, what is the user interface? It's simply the screen that a user is able to interact with, maybe by clicking or by typing or by swiping on the digital device. That's the user interface. But user experience is more like a philosophical or a psychological design to say that, oh, if a user is interacting with a software, the human would prefer to interact with the software this way than that way. For example, when phones were created with buttons, and then it got to a point where people started using what they call the stylus pen to use on their phones. And then it got to a time that people said, oh, instead of using a stylus pen, let me use my finger. And people came out and said, no, people will never use their fingers on the phone. People will never. But today it's so normal. Nobody even remembers that some people thought it would never be a possibility, right? So all that design was done by a user experience designer. So that's one of the reasons why it's a career of the digital economy today. Next, cybersecurity specialists. These are simply our police and military officers on the internet. They are our security specialists on the web. All right. Engineers, or what we call DevOps. DevOps are people who are able to understand and interface with cloud-based services. Some of the popular ones we have today are AWS cloud services, Microsoft Azure. Some people call it Azure. It's not Azure, it's Azure, Azure. Microsoft Azure cloud services. We have Google Cloud Services. All right. So instead of having like hard drives, memory sticks, memory cards, flash drives, you are able to store your information on the cloud. So cloud engineers are very, very important in today's digital economy. The sixth one is the digital marketer, and the digital marketer is actually someone who is able to market products and services over the internet. You are able to take goods and services to the people who need it, and you are using the internet as a medium. Digital marketers are very important, and they are trending and thriving in today's economy. And then the last one that I believe is very vital in today's economy is the product manager. The product manager is actually like the person, the team lead. Later in this lesson, we'll see that many companies or many teams are able to collaborate with one another in order to create a solution. All right, UI/UX designers, um, QA testers, software developers, different people are able to collaborate to build a product. Now, a product manager is somebody who is able to a product manager is somebody who is able to interact with all these people and understand the entire process to build a software, right? Using the software development lifecycle. Maybe in another class, I will explain that life cycle, but the product managers understand that life cycle and understand some other methodologies like the agile methodology that is used to coordinate teams that build softwares. Now, if you look at the 7 areas of the digital economy that are vital today, Garcode Academy is taking out number 1, number 2, number 3. All right. Number 1, number 2, number 3 as part of our courses that we are delivering. Okay, we are taking out this, and software developers, we have front end and back end, right? So we can say four of the 5 courses we are delivering in the Garcode Academy are what is needed today. But let me use this opportunity to link it to the future. All right. And these are skills that we can still learn today. Every skill, every career of the future that is going to be relevant is something that you can start learning today. So you don't need to wait for the future to be a part of it. And when I talk about the future, I'm talking about 10 to 30 years. 10 to 30 years. All right. So if you know that you are still going to be working, you are still going to be agile, you are not going to be retired in 10 years, these are things that you should actually take advantage of. And I'm not going to take too much time to explain them. I'm just going to explain a few of them because it aligns to what Garcode is teaching in our academy. The first on the right is AI engineer. AI engineers are people who are able to interact with what we call LLMs, which we stand for large learning models. They're able to interact with um, machine learning patterns and codes that will be able to interpret or create neural pathways within data to create intelligent systems. All right, those are what AI engineers do. The next is quantum computing specialists. Um, these are these are specialists that are able to build futuristic devices, that talk about maybe, traveling to space, um, um, holograms, virtual reality, all those kind of technology are things that will become very popular in the future. and quantum computing specialists are going to be very vital in that area. The next is also similar to that, which is called extended reality designer. Things like Meta came out to their virtual reality world, the metaverse. You know, metaverse, in my opinion, didn't do too well because it came out too early, right? But in the future, it's going to actually come out and be trending. So we would need virtual reality designers or architects, which we call extended ER, extended reality designers who will be able to design those solutions. The next is robotics process engineer. These are people who work with robots and know how to engineer their entire process. Then also green tech or climate data scientists. These are also data analysts, but they are targeted towards climate change. Because of the increase of digital technology and digital devices, we are going to have people who would need to preserve the earth. All right. So we need to make sure that we don't use digital devices to destroy the earth that we live in. So these are going to be people who are going to be very vital in the area of aligning with the data, seismic data, atmospheric data, wind data, sun data, sunlight data, and all those data to be able to preserve the climate of the earth. And then also would be needing these people a lot. They are called digital health or bioinformatics engineers. These are people who are able to program digital devices that work with human beings. All right. So some people are doing a lot of research into the area of human beings having digital eyes, digital hands, digital legs, digital heart. They are just researching very strongly in that area. So bioinformatics engineers will be people who will be very vital in that area as the career of the digital economy of the future. And then the last one I'm talking about is the AI and collaboration specialist, because AI is needed for so many things. All right. And human beings are going to need to interact with most of this AI. Okay. It's important for us to understand that we will still need human beings to help us coordinate with AI. We'll need human beings to help us design AI products that will be um, beneficial to us in the long run. Is that okay? So we would definitely need human AI collaboration specialists. These are people that are going to be vital into the of human and AI collaboration. Now, before I jump straight into the future of work, I want to just confirm if anyone has a question. I see a few people on the call. Please, if you have a question, just raise your hand and I will give you an opportunity to speak at the moment. If there are questions on the group chat, I can take them. But at the moment, if you have a question, please just raise your hand and give just raise your hand and you'll be given an opportunity to ask. If not, I just want to see maybe a thumbs up emoji if you are good, or a heart emoji if you're good. All right. I see a few thumbs up. Okay. All right. We're good. So let's proceed. So talking about the future of work, it's important to know that we need to collaborate because the future of work is going to be remote. All right. The future of work is remote collaborations. And in order for us to collaborate effectively, we need to understand how to interact. We need to understand how to interact with people across the world. Now, one of the tools, popular tools that I use for collaboration is what we call Jira. All right, so Jira is a productivity tool that is used to help track teams and the progress that we are being made. So there are many statuses that are used in Jira. For example, we have the to do status, in progress status, review status, and done status. So if, for example, as a designer, you are given a task and you are asked to, okay, design a login page. All right, that task is going to be put at to do, and then when you start working on that task, you are supposed to move that task from to do to in progress. Now, when you are done working on the task and you have submitted the task so that they would review it and find out whether you did it correctly, or maybe there are some corrections to be made, you will now move it from in progress to review or under review. And then when you finally get the approval that, oh, what you did was perfect, it can be approved, then your task or your ticket, as we call it, will be moved to done, right? It will be moved to done status. So that is how we interact with productivity tools like Jira and Trello. All right, they are very similar. It just helps us to be able to track, okay, this task or this ticket we are doing, what status is it? Is it under to do? If you see a ticket under to do, that means that nobody has started working on it. If you see a ticket under in progress, that means that somebody has started working on it. If you see a ticket under review, it means that somebody has worked on that ticket and the maybe senior engineers are reviewing it. The senior engineers are reviewing it. And then finally, if you see a ticket under done, it means that the ticket has been completed. All right. So that's a similar pattern that you can see in Jira and Trello. The next one we'll be talking about is GitHub and Bitbucket. They are similar also, but Bitbucket and Jira as tools that help us to Bitbucket and Jira are, sorry, Bitbucket and GitHub are tools that help us to work on one project, but from different locations and different people. So for example, if we are working on it's a very simple, normally I don't think it's something like this will be done, all right? But let me give an example that is more realistic. Let's say we have two designers, two UI designers, and was um, one designer was asked to design the login page. The second designer was asked to design the sign up or the register page. All right. Now, two of them are designing login page and sign up page for the same app. What that means is the login page and the sign up page have to be similar. All right. Now, we can use tools like GitHub or Bitbucket to be able to collaborate so that many people can work on a singular project. All right. So some of these tools are tools. Maybe at the end of this session, I'll just do um, a little display of some of these tools that we can use, or maybe in our physical class on Saturday, I can do like a display of some of the tools and then how we can use them in our collaboration. Now, let me talk about the digital ethics and responsible AI use, because in this industry and in the digital economy, we need to understand that we cannot do without AI. AI has come to be part of everything we do. Now, in using AI, we must have some moral codes and some moral standards that are implemented when using AI. According to I think if I'm not mistaken, the ethics committee, the AI ethics committee, there are like 6 or 7 pillars that everybody who uses AI must be conversant with. All right. And if you are writing this down, I think this is a good place to write this six or seven pillars down. I'll go through them. I think there are seven pillars actually. Now it's important for you to know this because as a student in the Garcode Academy, you are going to be not only using AI, you are going to be building AI products. All right. So when you are working on some of these AI products, these pillars are things that are going to help you to be to use AI responsibly. Now, digital ethics refers to the moral principles and values that guide how we use AI. These are the values that guide how we use AI, right? How AI should be designed, how AI should be developed, and how AI should be used, right? We ask questions like, is this technology fair and transparent? All right. Does it respect human privacy and dignity? Does it empower and exploit people? All right. But generally, it's just about ensuring human well-being remains the goal of digital innovation. Let's go through the oh, they're actually six, not seven. Let's go through the pillars of responsible AI. All right. The first one is fairness, fair, right? Is this product fair? Is this AI system fair? Now, what that means is it fair to everybody? If we are using an AI product, will it give the same answer to a black man that it gives also? Will it give the answer it gives to a black man? Is it the same answer it will give to a white man? Or sorry, let me rephrase that. If using an AI, right, is the answer the AI gives, will it give the answer it gives to an African? Will it give it to a Hispanic? Will it give that same answer to an American, an Asian? Do you understand? It's important that AI is fair, or the system, the AI technology, or the system that we build are fair and no discrimination. Now, if we are building AI products for people who if we are building AI products for everybody, can these AI products also be used for people who are blind, people who are disabled? All right. Um, for the girl child, for the boy child, just different conversations have to be made in terms of the fairness of the product or the AI system. We must make sure that there are no biases and there is no discrimination. So the first pillar is fair, being fair, fairness. The second one is transparent. Users can understand how it works. Users can understand how the AI product works. Is your system transparent? Number three, accountable. Developers have to take responsibility of the outcomes. All right. Let it not be that you build an AI system or you are using an AI in a way that you don't know the outcome. All right. You don't know how the AI is going to what result the AI is going to produce or how the AI is going to behave, right? So we have to be accountable for our use of AI and the development of AI systems and digital technologies. Number four, which is very important, is privacy conscious. We must be able to protect people's data and user identity. If you are building an AI product, you must make sure that the AI product is able to protect the identity of the users. All right. Because the distance or the extent rather to which AI will be used, we are only just beginning to imagine it. There is a country, I think Albania, if I'm not mistaken. Albania recently appointed a minister. All right. Albania recently appointed a minister, that's a political position. It appointed an AI as a minister in their political cabinet. All right. So the extent of AI, we don't yet understand the extent, but one thing we must understand is that we have to be privacy conscious. We must be able to protect the data of people that use AI and their identities. Number 5 is sustainable. The things that we are creating, are they going to be sustainable? All right. Does it use resources wisely? Does it use resources ethically? All right. These are things that we must consider. And then number 6, which is the final one, is that it has to be inclusive. It has to benefit all groups of society: the poor, the rich, the old, the young, the able, the disabled. All right. It has to be inclusive and benefit all groups of people. Now, with this general information that you received today, it's important that you understand how this knowledge is going to impact on you as a person, as a student, and then secondly, as someone who collaborates. Many of the times we have conversations with technical professionals and people, and it seems like they speak on a level that we are not yet, we don't understand, or they speak on a level that we are not yet conversant with. I'm hoping that this session has been able to open you up to some of the vital information that you will need in order to proceed with other technical and professional careers and courses within Garcode Academy. All right, we've come to the end of this session. I will take a few questions. I will take a few questions if there are any questions. If not, I will like us to bring this session to